I can't believe I did it, but I did a dual sport ride with my buddy Dennis. So he brought us from Moapa up to Enterprise, Utah, over to Caliente. We met some characters there. Came back down around over kind of near Mesquite, jumped on the freeway, and white knuckled it back to the truck. We're dual sporting from Glendale, Nevada. Buddy John Gurr was there as well for the entire ride. Down in the wash, I found a cut in the fence. Yeah, this is pretty wild. We started out along the railroad tracks, and when we came up on this first train, I was like, holy smokes, this thing's long. And then we kept riding along, and I thought, this thing goes forever. This train must have been 2-3 miles long or longer. I don't even know. It was really incredible, but we went up this wash, and the train tracks followed it. There was only this road and all these little bridges and stuff, and then right away we got out, went across the plain, and this road here we headed right towards Utah. So it was directly after we got up on the plain. It was like, man, it was amazing. We just had views for miles and miles. The road for me was nice and smooth. I was riding my KTM 500 EXC here. It was amazing how the colors would change so quickly. You know, you're looking at dirt that was brown for 1 second, and all of a sudden, like you saw there, it was red. And then here we go, right up into the cattle. This is free range. I thought this guy was gonna charge me. Here, cowboy. Here, hang on. Let him chase you. Here he comes. Pretty funny. Dennis didn't want to have any part to do with that guy. And this was, man, like right out there, those mountains out in the distance. That's Utah. We're getting close to the border now. And we were just ripping through here. It was fun. We were going probably 50 to 75 miles an hour on these roads. They were just so nicely maintained. The terrain was so beautiful. And then, of course, here we go. John had something going on his tire, and right there we crossed into Utah. We got down in the wash down here below, and John was completely flat by the time we were down in here. So we got that patched up. We were all right, but a little fun down here. Headed through Bull Valley Wash, and it's nice to see the water. Utah, Dennis? Yeah, up and out of the wash. You know, so Dennis, he told me a few times, he said, you got to try dual sporting. I'm a single track rider. I like to ride dirt bikes on gnarly, tight single track. And Dennis said, I have a loop I've got to show you. So we left from Moapa, Glendale, Nevada, and headed up all the way as Gunlock, Utah. Now we're really deep into Utah here. And then he got us all the way up past Gunlock into Enterprise, Utah. Had lunch out there in Enterprise, and then we hit it back west directly towards Nevada, towards Caliente. And we followed the tracks, and it was so cool. It was this, I mean, this is country that's kind of untouched. There's beautiful roads out there, but this is really the Wild West of the Wild West. This is where the immigrants came across and people tried to settle, and this was life from 150 years ago, and it must have been tough, but you know, they scratched out a living. And yeah, here's Enterprise. It's funny, this guy's got Mater in his front of his yard, and kind of a cool little town. And then here we head straight west towards Nevada. It's amazing to see these old buildings and old farms, and you know, see, I think they're cottonwood trees, and then back through this brush and across. And we just pulled that throttle back, twisted it on, and just went for it across these wide open spaces. Beautiful roads. And what happened was, as we dropped down into Nevada, we got back near the train tracks again, and we dropped into this old town, tiny. I'd never heard of it before, but it was super cool. It's called Barclay, Nevada. And you know, I never heard of it. I don't think the population of Barclay today is more than 20, 30 people. I'm sure back in the day it was probably a couple thousand. But what a picturesque valley. How beautiful it was on the way to Caliente. And here we are. We go down through this little canyon. You can see it starts to get, I mean, this is Nevada. This is southern Nevada. This is nice and wet and nice farmland. So Caliente, Barclay, Pioche, that was kind of the old part of Nevada that got settled.
West right here, man.
That's right. You having fun, Dennis? You having fun?
Yeah.
It's cool. They even have a little church down there. You know, it's folks who live there, they must really enjoy it. It's just beautiful. Little fun on the way out of town here. Hit the little jump. I guess all the kids hit that on their bikes or whatever, and off we went. Made a left here at the railroad tracks and buzzed down the canyon all the way to Caliente. It was about another, I don't know, like an hour and a half, but it was just tunnel, railroad crossing, tunnel, creek, railroad, tunnel, bridge. Super cool valley that closed in tighter and tighter. You could just see back in the day the bandits out here, the train robbers, all that kind of stuff. And you see on the left the water's kind of backed up a little bit. It's because there's beaver dams everywhere. The beavers have the entire creek all the way into Caliente locked up and even further. It's amazing. So beautiful down there. And the creek, I guess it runs year round, but what a great ride that Dennis put together. So much fun. So John Gurr, myself, and Dennis, we absolutely had a blast. So we shot down here through to Caliente, which is also another beautiful town in Nevada. And then we headed directly south towards a place, I think it's pronounced Elgin or Elgin, where Dennis had an old buddy who had an old motorcycle ranch. He used to have a track out there and stuff, and a little hotel, kind of cool. And then, man, we stopped and met some characters down there. And, you know, if my GoPro would have kept running, that would have been something, because after Elgin, we got back down about halfway between Mesquite and Moapa. And it was nighttime when we pulled onto the freeway. And I've never ridden on the freeway before. Again, I'm on a KTM 500 plated, but I'm not used to going 75 miles an hour next to a diesel. I mean, riding here next to the train tracks, having trains go by, tunnels, that's one thing. But going down the freeway, wow, that was, I didn't realize how tight I was gripping the handlebars. I got off the bike back in Moapa, and my hands were just numb from just doing that super crazy white knuckle gripping. So anyway, this shoots back down, like I said, into Caliente here. See those beaver dams again on the right? It's so cool. I've raced up here before with Moran, and there's mountain bike trails everywhere in this area around Caliente. They have a beautiful mountain bike track. It's like a whole single track thing they put together. And then the dirt bike riding around Caliente it's just spectacular. All the way up Panaca, Pioche, and beautiful part of southern Nevada, all the way down to Alamo. But yeah, so again, we cut through this final few canyons, across these last few bridges. I guess these roads are here as for the repair vehicles for the railroad. I mean, it's a serious freight railroad that goes through this area, and it goes right through Las Vegas and on to California. So when you see a train like you saw at the start of the video, they're monsters. So back on the pavement, down to Caliente, like I said, and then south to Elgin, and then out to the freeway and back to the truck. Thanks again, Dennis. That was part of the Nevada 200 course right there.
It goes right there.
Yep. It's rides like these, you know. I guess maybe I'm a dual sporter. We'll see. You never know. We'll see what comes up in the next videos. But man, we sure made some great memories. What a spectacular day. Loved it.